Huge thanks to OK Jazzy. They're your go-to for the 2026 World Cup and an incredible retro archive. They've got decades of iconic league classics, from legendary 90s designs to the rarest club heritage kits. Whether it's a high-performance player version or a timeless vintage look, prices start at just £15, 4.5 Trustpilot rating and fast shipping. Use code Chris for 8% off and grab your piece of football history now.
Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. This is another edition of the Fan Show, where we'll be talking to a number of Tottenham Hotspur fans from all around the world. What a transfer window it has been so far, and there is still 62 days left of this transfer window, and it is now 45 days until Spurs face Brentford on the opening weekend of the 26-27 campaign. Now, we're live on YouTube, we're live on X, we're also live on Facebook. Please do get involved. Let us know how you are feeling right now as a Tottenham Hotspur fan. 4 completed deals over the line in June: Robertson, Senesi, Van Hecke and Dubravka, and 2 deals in place in the last 24 hours. We have been given the here we go from Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano on Matheus Fernandes, £85 million signing from West Ham United. And today, in the last couple of hours, we've been given the here we go again from Fabrizio Romano on Sandro Tonali. This package is worth £100 million. This is ambition. This is backing Roberto De Zerbi. And I tell you what, Spurs fans at the moment are absolutely delighted. And I can't wait to talk to a number of them. Now, joining me straight away is Craig Dearman, channel regular. Craig, how are you?
I'm all right, a bit hot. That's why I'm in the garden, but yeah, I don't mind. I really don't mind today. It's just sensational news. It's almost like I can't believe it. It's like, is it our club? Do you know what I mean? Is it Tottenham? Is this happening? And it sounds bizarre to say that, but the fact we've got 6 signings over the line and the transfer window's been open, what, 2.5, 3 weeks? That's unheard of. Yeah, absolutely unheard of. So yeah, mental.
Craig, talk to me how you're actually feeling, because I tell you what, you and I speak on a regular basis, if it's not, every day, about Spurs. And how many times, over the years have I said, and I felt like a broken record saying about the club showing ambition, the club doing things in a different way, because we've gone through so many different managers. Even since the Pochettino days in 2019, when we moved in the new stadium, how many managers have we gone through? Of course, we had 3 managers last season. This is showing real intent. This is showing real ambition. And this is showing that the football club mean business and they are backing Roberto De Zerbi.
Oh, 100%. And it's like you said, we've been crying out. How many times have we been on the channel, on a podcast, during transfer windows, where we say, they need to get proper ready-made players in with, it's all very well for youth and trying to get players for the future and all that. How many times have we said we need to be different? We need to do things differently in the transfer window, and they haven't done it. How many times have you asked me over the years, Craig, things have to be different this window, don't they? And I've said, yes, they have to be, but whether they will be or not is another thing. Now, finally, after that shock, I mean, I could have used a nastier word then, but like after that kick up the bum they got from us nearly getting relegated, is it, they say in life, you have to hit rock bottom before you can, start climbing up, the old David Brent quote, and you never know you're in a valley before you're climbing out of it. And perhaps that's exactly what's happened with Tottenham. They just, it got so bad, and we was inches away from disaster. If it hadn't been for Paulinho, we would have been down, essentially his goals kept us up. So he's given them a real kick up the backside, and they're finally doing things differently. And it's only what us fans have asked for years, isn't it?
Craig, these are 2 huge statement signings, though. As I mentioned, Fabrizio Romano stated yesterday, breaking news: Tottenham agree club record fee for Matheus Fernandes. Here we go. Agreement in place at £85 million. Fixed fee as West Ham accept the price that they have always asked for. 100% guaranteed. Manchester United will now focus on different targets in midfield. And today, Exclusive again, Tottenham agree record deal to sign Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. Here we go. Agreement between clubs closed, and also on player side with the Italian midfielder. Fee higher than the £85 million paid for Matheus Fernandes. And David Ornstein on this story, he has stated that Tottenham Hotspur reached agreement with Newcastle to sign Sandro Tonali. Deal for the 26-year-old Italy international to join Spurs from Newcastle. £92.5 million plus £7.5 million in potential add-ons based around Champions League qualifications. Now, do you remember it wasn't long ago that Ange Postecoglou was asked a question in the press conference, will Spurs ever spend £100 million on a player? He said no. This, for me, Craig, I tell you what, the football club is changing in a very, very positive way.
Certainly is, yeah. I remember that well when Ange came out with that, and it's kind of a downer, wasn't it? Because we've been saying for ages that that's the sort of money the club need to splash out on players nowadays, and they were trying to do things differently, weren't they? They always have done, especially since even Pochettino days, like you're saying. Players' values have just gone up and up and up. I don't think it helped all those years ago when Neymar went for that ridiculous fee. That kind of kick-started the ridiculous fees. But you're where we. It's weird, isn't it, Chris? It's like we said only last season, you got to pay 50 million for a ready-made Premier League player. I think you could probably add a 10, 15 million to that now. When you look at the likes of how much we bought Van Hecker for, how much we've paid for Tonali, how much we paid for Fernandes, and that's from a relegated West Ham. Remember, right? They're in a different position at the moment, West Ham, because they've apparently had a load of money ploughed into the club or going to have. But regardless, that's the sort of money you have to pay to get players nowadays. And look at the Vuskovic deal, how much we've let him go for his age. Time will tell if that's going to come back to bite us in the bum. But at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're taking the gamble, aren't they? That's what I like to see. They've taken risks on these players. Well, not risks as in we know what they can do, but they've always been cautious in transfer windows, and we've always held on to players in the past as well. That like Vuskovic, I think a couple of years ago we'd have been holding on to him. They're doing things differently. That's exactly right what you said. They're doing things differently, and time will tell whether it works. But I'll tell you what, this squad that he's building with a couple more additions, I know I'm being greedy, but with a few, I've got an idea of the players that I want to get, or certainly positions, and some idea of the players I want to get in. Can we do it? Can we make more big signings? I'd love to see it.
Craig, another thing that is hugely exciting is the fact that so many fans in the last couple of weeks have been quite negative, and I don't blame them for attitudes, because Spurs, it appears, especially last summer, we failed to get the big deals over the line. Eze to Arsenal, Morgan Gibbs-White to Nottingham Forest. Yeah. We could go on forever talking about other deals as well, but this is a major change again, isn't it, at the football club? That the fact that the club have managed to get two huge deals, even beating Manchester United. We know how big Manchester United are. We know the comments from Mark Goldbridge about the bone. He must be gutted about that. But the fact that Spurs have beaten Manchester United to the signature for Fernandes, and the fact that other clubs were interested in Sandro Tonali, and also this is a huge statement, not only to us Spurs fans, but this is a huge statement to the Premier League that Tottenham mean business this year. Yeah,
and I see a lot of people commenting on social media that not fans of Spurs, that Spurs are doing things in the transfer window. We certainly are, and the fact that Fernandes wanted Tottenham over Manchester United, a team with Champions League football. Yes, the draw of the capital is going to be a big one for players, but the fact that he's chosen us over Manchester United, the fact that Tonali chose us over Manchester City. I mean, I think Fabrizio Romano came out recently, didn't he, and said he always, personal terms were agreed with Tottenham back in middle of June, almost, when this deal broke, the news broke. So I don't think anybody should underestimate the pull of Roberto De Zerbi. A lot of players have come out and said they want to play for De Zerbi, and that's how good is that? If it was just one or two, but it seems like everybody in the squad and everybody that's come in says they came to Tottenham because they want to play under Roberto De Zerbi. And we always talk, don't we? You've said to me how many times, what does back in the manager look like? This is what back in the manager looks like. What they're doing now, what they should have done years ago. And we wouldn't have had this chance had we been relegated. So I'll come back to it. They've had a kick up the bum. They've had a shock, and they've finally acted. And perhaps that's what was needed to make this happen.
Do you know what, Craig? I used to talk about trophies a lot, and then we won one. And I used to talk about ambition a lot, and now we're actually doing it. So I might go on to bigger and better things, and see if it happens as well. Before I let you go, how excited are you by next season? That like I said in the intro there, next season starts in 45 days for Tottenham. Of course, we've got a big and busy pre-season plan, but how excited are you for next season? And I know there is also 62 days left of this window. And me personally, and I know you're exactly the same, we're still going to be greedy, and we're still going to hope and pray that Spurs are going to get more in. And, from all of the top journalists at the moment, they are all stating that Spurs are pushing. They want to do more. They want at least, or Roberto De Zerbi wants at least 2 more attacking players, a forward player that can play across the front line, and also a left winger. How excited are you?
Very. And it's funny because I got the receipt from Spurs, my membership, and the family's membership came out yesterday, the day before, something like that. And it just feels like the season's starting now, even though it's not. The World Cup's still going. But do you know what I mean? When that notification comes through, I kind of think, right, excellent. The season's just around the corner now, so that's really good. But I'm still relieved that we didn't get relegated, Chris, to be honest with you. So I'm still very grateful for that and what Roberto De Zerbi did, let's be honest. That those last few months doing the videos we did, the shows that I did, the shows that you did, they were all horrible, most of them, apart from that end of season one where they weren't they? It was horrible. How many times did we talk saying, oh no, are we going to be talking Craig, about another defeat?
Well, you can tell the viewers and listeners then that we're going to expect a much better or a much bigger smiley Craig Dearman for next season, then, yeah?
I certainly hope so, Chris. Yeah, I don't like being miserable, but sadly, most of last season, that's kind of where we all were, and certainly me. But yes, excited for the season. Just quickly before I go, talking about players, that's really music to the ears that he wants 2 attackers, and we all know those positions, centre forward and left wing. Now everybody would be interesting to see what people tonight say the players that they want, whether it be Savinho, whether it be personally for me Eli Junior Krupi. I think he's gettable. I think we should be going for him. I think he's a marvellous player. And the centre forward, out and out number 9, a statement number 9. I mean, some people were saying online this evening that England centre forward don't look half bad. He's only got a year left on his contract. Can we go and get him? Now, I'm telling you, I don't think for 1 second we'd be in for Harry Kane, or Harry Kane would want to come back or anything like that. But something like, can you imagine if they shocked everybody and somehow convinced Kane to come back? It probably cost £150 million. But you talk about backing the manager, crikey. Kane ain't coming back, but I can dream. But if you're looking about strikers that are available, there's a few out there that probably make a difference. It's forward-thinking players. I like Marmoush. I would go for Marmoush. Some people don't like Rashford. I think, there's been talk about his attitude, right? I don't know. I think Rashford could do well under De Zerbi. Vlahovic, you've got Osimhen. So there's a few out there I think are available. Let's see what Spurs do.
Craig, thank you as always. Keep smiling, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Chris. See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Right, we're now going to go to Ashley. Ashley, how are you?
How you doing, Chris? You all right?
Yeah, very well, very well. Very happy at the moment. How are you feeling?
Yeah, same. A lot happier than towards the back end of last season. Well, for the majority of last season, to be fair.
Are you surprised how Spurs have gone about their business?
Yeah, I think we've never known anything like it. I was at work earlier, and everyone kept coming up to me like, "You just spending a lot of cash, aren't you?" I was like, a lot of fans on Twitter as well, how Spurs spending all this? I'm like, well, you do realise like our ratio was like one of the worst last year, wasn't it? Wages to, what was it? I can't remember what it was, but they had it on Sky Sports. So we've got a lot of money to spend. We've had a lot of money to spend. And I thought, I've been thinking, had Levy still been in place, would it be the same? I don't think so. Because if you look at the Simon Jordan thing recently, he said that we've had our pants pulled down and things like that. And that shows me that they wouldn't have done that deal for Van Hecker. So
it feels very different, actually, now, doesn't it? It does feel different this summer. And I've no doubt that the Spurs owners and the Spurs hierarchy were probably quite scared about how close it was for Tottenham being relegated, especially when it went to the final day of the season. But with the football club showing real ambition, like I said to Craig, I felt like a broken record, for many years, saying the same old thing about I just want to see the football club show ambition. But we're certainly here now, aren't we? The fact that we've got the Fernandes deal over the line, Tonali, I think was probably the biggest one, a real statement signing where people were going to probably raise their eyebrows and go, wow, because how many times have we seen wow signings come in where you've got really excited by?
Yeah, not many that I can think of. Van der Vaart. I was personally excited by Maddison. I've always loved Maddison. But what's that, 2 that I can think of in the last 12, 13 years? I think this is very exciting. And I think it is. I think last season was a massive wake-up call. With all the changes, like you just said there, I think we don't want to be in that position ever again. They don't want to be in that position ever again. And now we're acting like the big club that we are. Regardless of what people say, we're acting how we should be acting. I'm over the moon with the signings. I think overpaid. It's a crazy market right now. The prices, the inflation, but happy with the signings for sure. Definitely.
Actually, I know you, Craig and I just said about Spurs fans. They're always quite greedy in terms of what we want. As soon as we've signed one player or got a deal over the line, we're then on to the next one, saying, well, we need this, we need that. In your opinion, what do we need now to really back Roberto De Zerbi by at the end of the window in 62 days' time for you to say that was a 10 out of 10 window?
Definitely move on to attacking reinforcements. If you notice, we've been working from the back up. So defence sorted. That midfield, like Fernandes and Tonali, great additions to the midfield. Now we need to look at the attack. I think at least a left winger and a number 9, at least. And then that's a 10 out of 10 window. And the way we're going, I think, it doesn't look like we're stopping now. So I think they're going to push for an out top winger, top striker. And then obviously we need to look at outgoings as well.
Actually, how excited are you by next season? And particularly with the style of play that Roberto De Zerbi likes to implement at the football clubs that he manages?
I want the World Cup over now. I want to start the season now. That's how excited I am. I want to start the season now.
In terms of outgoings, who do you expect to leave?
Dragoshin, Richarlison, Bergvall, Sarr, I would say. That's who I expect to leave. Whether they will or not, I don't know.
With the Bergvall situation, we've heard seen reports stating that Spurs don't want to sell Bergvall, and Johan Langer and Roberto De Zerbi have apparently sat down with Bergvall and said how important he is to the future of the football club. How disappointed would you be if Spurs did actually let him go?
I would be slightly disappointed, but I feel, like I said, we're acting like the big club that we are and how we're supposed to be acting. So if we're getting proven players in, and if that means we have to sacrifice someone with potential who we don't know is 100% going to be good in the Premier League, so be it. We're acting like how we should be acting. But I do think he has got potential, and I would be, slightly upset if he did leave, as I was with the whole Vuskovic news coming out as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, if we're acting like the big club that we are and how we're supposed to be acting, and we're getting ready-made players in and proven talent, so be it. I mean, if you last season, this is the first season in a long time I was genuinely contemplating not renewing my season ticket. Every week last season, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't. It was horrible. Oh, you go to every game home and away.
It was hard, yeah.
Every game thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to renew, but it's Tottenham. It's in our blood. It's what we know. So, but like I said, I'm just glad that we're acting how we should be. I'm excited for the season. I want it to start now. I want the World Cup over.
Actually, last question before you go. There's a very common theme, obviously, in this transfer window that Spurs are bringing in Premier League experienced players. It's been spoken about heavily about Savinho for Manchester City coming in on the left wing. If that was to happen, would you be happy? And also, if we did sign a forward with Premier League experience, perhaps a player that plays in the Premier League right now, who would you go after?
I would be happy with Savinho, but I don't think he would be. Look, you're trying to replace Heung-min Son. We were spoiled with Son and Kane. Yeah. Savinho is not going to match up to that. But is he better than what we've got now? Yes. I would personally prefer Rashford, if I'm being honest. That would be my pick on that side.
Ashley, take that call, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers. Thank you. Right, we're now going to go all the way to Istanbul to speak to our good friend Orchi. Orchi, how are you?
Oh, mate, I cannot tell you how excited I am. And look at that.
All smiles. All smiles, Orchi.
I was there last week, mate. I was at the stadium last week. I had a really last-minute trip to London. And look at that. Finally got to the stadium. They were getting ready for the Bad Bunny concert.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, I was so proud. Is that obviously I moved the year in 2019 to Istanbul, the year that the stadium opened. So I'd never seen the new stadium. And I cannot tell you just what an incredible day. And it was a very last minute thing. And even I realized I was going to have, because my flight back to Istanbul was 11 o'clock at night. So I realized I had about 4 or 5 hours free in that day afternoon. So I thought, what should I? And immediately I just thought, right, Spurs Stadium. It was a gorgeous. It was when you guys had the heat wave. It was a beautiful day. I went there, and I promise you, I was there, and I was thinking, come on, guys, we have to build a team that deserves to be playing and going after every single cup in this gorgeous, beautiful arena, a football arena. It's just, and I was praying for this. I was hoping for this. And then bang, the following week, the club. Well, I mean, even by that point, I was talking to everyone at the shop. I was talking to the guy that was taking us around. I was so excited, mate. And because obviously we'd already done the Senesi business. We already got Van Hecker done. We had already, got those players in. And obviously we knew that we were in for Fernandes. We were in for Tonali. And I was thinking, could it be? Are they really going to finally put their money where their mouth is? Because we've heard this, especially, this new hierarchy has been around for since beginning of last season, and they kind of said a lot of similar things, and we were all disappointed. How many shows have I been on here where I've said, look, they've said this, but they're doing exactly the same as what Levy was doing before. And I think finally, that scare of last season of us literally potentially going down until the last day of the season, I think hopefully finally kicked into gear that this is, it showed them what they needed to do. They needed to act because Tottenham have everything in place to be a giant. The stadium, the training facilities, everything is there for us to be an absolute giant of world football. All it needed is some ambitious owners to put some money on that pitch, get some quality players on top of the good young players that we already have. I'm talking about our Xavi Simons. I'm talking about Bergvals. I'm talking about Archie Grays of our club. We just needed some, ready-made leaders, some, trusted players to come in and take us to that next step. This is the kind of business they should have done 10 years ago at peak Poch times, really. Had they done this, probably we would have been champions. Probably, potentially, we could have won the Champions League. When you think we played in the Champions League final in, 2019. And finally, they're acting like it. And it's really exciting times. We've never seen this. I think the last time I got this excited, it takes me all the way back to that summer when we got Klinsmann in, when we got Popescu in, when we got Dumitrescu in. I remember it was the 1990s. It was a long time ago. But I remember
94.
that summer. Again, World Cup summer, wasn't it, Chris? I'm sure you remember it as well.
94,
and we got, 94. We got Klinsmann, we got Dumitrescu, Popescu, all these names that were a hit at the World Cup. We got them in, and it was an incredibly exciting time. And again, it's the first time I'm feeling this excited. It's amazing feeling.
Ulchi, I don't recall a fan show talking to you where both of us are grinning like we are.
It is, honestly, mate. It's what we've all been praying for I don't know how many years now. I mean, we all right. The last couple of seasons have been a big disappointment, and we've really suffered. And us as Spurs fans are probably the fans that have suffered the most, because look, with all due respect, when you think of the Bournemouths, the Brightons, all those kind of level of teams, or Crystal Palaces, yes, with decent managers, in recent years they've punched above their weight a little bit, and they've done well. But you don't necessarily expect a Brighton or a Bournemouth or any of these kind of teams to be up there potentially challenging. Tottenham are a top 6 team, and they've established themselves as a top 6 team or top 4 team even since Harry Redknapp days. And then we had the incredible Pochettino years, I should say. And we felt we believed that we were really making progress. And then obviously with that 6th season when Pochettino got let go after November, even though I think in the 5 years what he achieved in that club with the lack of support that he had, financial support that he had, I think what he achieved was amazing, and he really didn't have this kind of backing. So I think he had a lot of credit that he deserved to at least see the rest of that season, but he was let go. And then after that, we went from manager to manager to manager because, again, we did not back the managers that we brought in, and there was definitely a discord between the type of managers we were going for and the type of model that we had at the club. And something had to change. Something had to be, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's what the management were doing. And that's the thing that had to change. And I genuinely believe them now. Now, obviously, we, again, spoke many times in this past season about how there's been a lot of changes in the hierarchy in the club, and that we were hoping that things were going to be going different going forward. And everybody from Vinay to Johan Langes told us that it was going to be different, but we didn't see any different. Even at the January transfer window, when that team clearly needed many more players that were brought in. So obviously, it's only natural from everything that we've been through over the years that we felt, oh, here we go again. It's the same old, same old. But I'm really glad. But they said, look, fair enough to them. They said, wait till this summer. This summer is going to be a big summer. And they've certainly kept their word. And so I think finally we have this setup that we can trust what they tell us. And obviously, let's see, this doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, but I mean, we are certainly building a hell of a team. And, Vuskovic, I wish we did keep him, but at the same time, from the reports that were coming out, him saying that he wanted to go, I didn't like that, to be honest. And any, player that he thinks he's too good for the club, okay, he can go, no matter how much of a potential he has. But I mean, the players that we brought in, when you think of Senesi, Van Hecker, these are incredible players. They were some of the top defenders of last season. And with Van de Ven, obviously very much committed to the club. We don't know what Romero is going to do. I mean, potentially he's probably going to get sold, but I heard some reports where he was saying he's willing to stay and fight for his place, but probably not. But I think we should definitely keep Bergvall. I think Bergvall is one that we should keep, because I think there's good potential. And I think, again, that pull of De Zerbi and how much he can develop under De Zerbi with all these amazing players that are coming in now, why would you want to go somewhere else? Just at least stay, do your preseason, stay. And, we've been told that Johan Lange and De Zerbi has spoken to him, told him that he's definitely very much part of his plans. Yeah, man, stick around and see what happens, because I think Xavi Simons and Kudus aren't probably going to be back until at least the end of the year, sort of probably November, December time. So, we stick around, man, just because these are really probably exciting times, the most exciting times that we've had for decades at Spurs at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, well said, Ulchi. Yeah, it is exciting times, and I'm very, very excited about the future under Roberto De Zerbi. But lastly, Ulchi, you mentioned the word proud earlier when you come on, and it gave me goosebumps when you said proud, because that's exactly how I feel today. I feel very proud of the way that we are acting as a football club. We are a huge club, and we need to act in that way to, fight for top honours and fight on all fronts, like the football club has said many times. But they also said, and you referenced it there and touched on it, Vinod Venkatesham come out and said that it isn't about words anymore, it is about the action. But in the last 24 hours, Spurs have certainly shown that we are changing as a football club. Not only are we paying big money, but we're also paying big wages, and we're also getting these huge deals over the line. There is real change at the football club, and that is something that I don't think there's anyone out there who isn't a Tottenham fan that has asked for that change, asked for some kind of change where we do things differently. And I remember it was only a couple of weeks ago, Teddy Sheringham come out and said, Spurs have to do things differently, because if you keep doing the same thing again and again, you will have the same result. And I couldn't put it better myself. And I've been saying about ambition and the club being ambitious in the future. And honestly, this has been a fantastic 24 hours. Will it continue? Will we get more statement signings over the line in July? I think that we want to all be greedy and hope that we do. But so far, it's been a fantastic window with 6 players in the door. How many other players would you like to see come in after Fernandes and Tonali?
Well, I mean, I mentioned Vuskovic obviously leaving. Now, I mean, he's practically gone approximately for the same price that we bought Van Hecke from them. So the amount that we spent on Van Hecke has almost been, zeroed out now. So really, the two amounts that we spent is 185 million, or let's say 190 million on Tonali and Fernandes now, technically. Now, obviously, the club themselves have said there's still more to come. And, supposedly we were in serious conversation. I mean, whoever they said that we are in serious contention in, well, they're finalizing it. They're doing it. So, and at the same time, there was a lot of talk about Savinho. Now, I think Savinho would definitely is another player where, if he came in, really improves that team. So Savinho is definitely one. I think to really have an incredible season, I think definitely we need a left winger for sure. I think we need another attacker. As much as, like I've been saying it for several seasons, Richarlison does his best, but he's not at that top level. So I think, Solanke is a good player. I think he can stay, but probably we need to replace Richarlison. We need another left winger. So I would at least like to see another minimum 2, potentially 3 players. When you also consider, we still don't know what's happening with Kulusevski. It's gone a bit quiet on him. Is he coming back? Is he on the road to mend? You hear a lot of apparently there's still complications about his knee. And considering that Kudus, also Xavi, and also, oh God, what's the other guy's name? The French left winger who's out as well. My brain's gone blank. Odobert, exactly. Odobert is also, I think, out till the start of the new year. with his injury. So we still have like 2, 3, 4 long-term injuries to cover. I mean, God, what a team does that look when those guys come back, Chris? Even just with what we've done so far, look how different, how strong that team looks. But certainly, I think definitely, I think we need, I would say 2 to 3 more players would definitely, I think, puts us on an incredible potential for next season, especially playing 1 game a week with a full proper preseason under De Zerbi, and plus he's probably going to bring in some of his backroom staff as well, because I think you reported on this as well. When De Zerbi came in, he kind of pretty much came in by himself, and he didn't really bring a lot of his own kind of football ideas. The whole point was to get through those 7 games and survive, and then he would kind of look at bringing in some of his backroom staff and maybe some new coaches, his own coaches, to really, mold that team into a team that plays his style of football. And we know what his style of football is. So I'm hugely excited. I mean, I can't wait for us to start on the preseason, which I think they come back, if I'm correct, they come back like 17th of July or something like that. Obviously, the players involved in the World Cup might be coming back a week or so after. But I'm telling you, if I'm like, because already, if you think about it, the Dutch players, so, Van Hackett and Van der Ven, some of the other players, their World Cups are over. I'd say, yeah, boss, I'll go on a holiday for a week, and then, I'm back in 2 weeks. I'm back at the training ground, ready to start, rubbing my hands. That's what I'll be saying to the boss. I wouldn't, because I think they're allowed to have up to about 3 weeks, but I sod the 3 weeks. I'll be like, yep, I'll just have a quick break and a holiday for a week in the Mediterranean somewhere on a private little yacht, because they can all afford it. And then, have a week, 10 days, and then be back at Spurs Lodge, ready to, start this incredible new period that, both De Zerbi and the club are hopefully setting us up for, because, incredibly exciting. I just can't believe it. I'm pinching myself thinking, this better not be a dream. I better not wake up, because I've had dreams like this, and, this is a reality. So it's honestly, it's fantastic. That stadium is amazing. That stadium is something to be really proud of. Honestly, man, I'm not exaggerating. It was exactly just over a week ago. It was last week, Tuesday, when I was there. There's a spot, I'm sure you've seen it plenty of times, where it shows where the old center circle used to be. Our guy, John Jackson, shout out to him if he watches this. Lovely chap. He showed us, and I teared up, because I've been to many games at White Hart Lane. I remember White Hart Lane, but I'd never been to the new stadium. But what an incredible stadium. We went to the H Club. We went to all the different boxes. We went to Xavi Simons' box. We went to Maddison's box. For some reason, he had some Tell shirts in there as well. So I don't know if they're sharing a box at the moment. But, Matty's Tell. I mean, how exciting for him as well. Like, it's honestly, I can't remember the last time I was this excited about,
OG,
a season.
I can tell you're absolutely buzzing. And you know what?
I can go on for hours.
I know you can, and I love the fact that you've joined so many fan shows these last couple of years, and some of them have been quite depressing, talking about very negative things and very depressing things. And the last couple of seasons, let's be frank and honest about it, in league competition, it's been very, very hard to talk about. Yes, we had the Europa League success, but last season, 3 different managers, and we all felt that we were going to go down. It went to the final day of the season. It was touch and go. But to be in this position now, where we're smiling and feeling very excited, 45 days away before the season starts, is very, very telling. And long may this continue. Orgy, honestly, we could talk for hours, but I haven't got the time. This is only meant to be a short fan show. So we will do one, I promise, again next week. So I'll talk to you then.
Cheers, mate. Great to talk to you all. Big love to everyone. Come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, Orgy. Honestly,
cheers, mate. Good night.
It really is great to see so many Spurs fans in such a good mood. We're now going to go to Michael. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. How are you doing?
Yes, very, very well. And smiling away and loving this transfer window so far. What do you make of it all?
Well, let me just paint a picture of my day. I get back from a meeting to find Harry Kane scoring not just the tying goal, but then the winning goal in the England match. And then I drive home and we've signed Tonali. What is going on? Who is this club? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's honestly like it feels very not like us in the best way possible. And I have so much confidence that it is going to be really, really hard to break us down next year. And I just hope we can score a few goals while we're at it.
Michael, is there a part of you that is surprised on how the club have gone about things, or did you expect this? Because some people would say that they're surprised by the way that we have done things so quickly, given the fact that we haven't really done business very quick in previous transfer windows under multiple different managers. But then there is that aspect where you think that we finished 17th, 2 seasons on the trot. Something needs to change.
It feels to me like this is actually the first transfer window where Levy was like completely not involved, which might be true. Yeah, he left right after in like February. So like, I think that
he left in September.
He left in September. No, he left exactly. That's why I was like,
yeah.
They had one, but they had to kind of get their feet wet a little bit. They had to get their bearings, and then we had that 17th place finish. So I feel like they are actually putting their money where their mouth is. They're actually realizing that like saving a penny might mean losing millions. So like nickel and diming, and I don't even know if that's a saying in the UK, but like just being cheap and trying to get a deal and trying to like save money in any way possible means that you miss out on genuine talent. And now we're signing genuine talent. So I don't know if it's like the family in charge, or if it's that Levy's not there, or if that they're finally saying like, hey, De Zerbi clearly has something figured out. If he wants someone, we got to get him. So I'm in. I think De Zerbi's had something to prove. Spurs have something to prove. And us as fans, we got to be along for the ride.
Michael, how excited are you by next season under Roberto De Zerbi? Because when you think of the 7 games that he managed Spurs, he came in, the confidence was so low. Many people thought it was going to be, far too late, but he managed to get us the points needed to stay in the Premier League. And of course, we can, Craig mentioned about Polinia earlier, a key figure in our team, vital goals, last season. And of course, Kinski in those remaining games under Roberto De Zerbi. So, there are a couple of key moments, but how excited are you by the type of football that he wants to play at Spurs? And how excited are you by what he is building? Because, like I keep saying, there's 45 days until the season starts, but there's also 62 days left of this transfer window. So Spurs could go and get, more statement signings in.
I find it hard to believe that we won't. I'll be honest, like I'm thoroughly enjoying the World Cup, but I cannot wait for the season to start. It feels like De Zerbi is like the first manager since Poch that not only shares the vision for like what we want to achieve, but also how we want to play, and has the wherewithal and the experience to get us there. I think Ange was close, but then I think he got a little bit over his head and he made a decision and it worked, and I love him. But I think De Zerbi can have us competing on all fronts. And I think that as much as, like some of the other big 6 really are spending even more than we are, I think we're trying to prove that like not only do we belong there, but we belong at the top of there. So I think we're gonna just keep leaning into that experience and that mindset.
Michael, can I ask whether you were genuinely surprised by the here we go from Fabrizio Romano on the Sandro Tonali deal? Because I've got to say, this last week or so, with all of the 60-second updates I've put out and all of the other updates that I've been putting out across social media, the amount of people who replied saying it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Not going to happen. We're going to miss out on him. He's going to go to Arsenal. He's going to go to Manchester City. It's never going to happen. Were you one of them?
Yeah, I was like, we're going to get one of Fernandes or Tonali, and then the other one, it'll like kind of just peter out and it'll be fine. And to be honest, knowing what we've done in the past, I would have been happy with that. That would have been fine. Like, okay, let's move on. But now, like, just thinking about how our midfield is going to play next year, I'm somewhat in shock. I still don't know like what to make of this, but I like it and I would like more of it, please.
You mentioned the World Cup, and of course the news come out today that here we go for Luka Vluskovic to go to Brighton. Of course, he's been part of the Croatia team at the World Cup. How do you feel about that situation?
It's the one piece of all of this of like the Vuskovic, Bergvall, Gray, like some of our young talent feel like they're getting kind of put into the corners, into the shadows. I hope we don't lose all of them. But with Vuskovic in particular, like, yes, he is an incredible talent, and I hope he does well. Not too well at Brighton, but well. He never put on the shirt. Like, he's 19 years old. He's still got a lot to prove. So, and we bought him for like less than 10 and sold him for over 40. So I think if we're going to spend the money that we're spending, we need to make some of it back. And we don't have a whole lot of players where we can make a decent profit. And if Vuskovic is part of that, he's part of that. I would hate to see Bergvall and Gray go. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them do. But like we have to bring money in, and with the like we're not going to be able. I don't know if Richie's going to stay or go, but we're not going to get a ton for him. Like so, there needs to be a balance. I feel like I sound like there's the Daniel Levy in my head of like, no, we have to balance the budget here. But I'm like, no, let's go in. We're just going to get into Europe every year moving forward, and we're going to make all the money back that we need.
Lastly, can I just ask you about the money side of things? Because I've seen, various fans, non-Spurs fans say about the transfer fees. £85 million is too much for Matheus Fernandes. A lot of people have said today that, it's absolutely crazy money, £92.5 million plus 7.5 in add-ons for Tonali. It's crazy money. Is this just the market that we're in at the moment, or do you think that Spurs have overpaid for these players? And from a fan's point of view, if we have overpaid, do you actually care? Because we need this quality, we need this caliber of player in anyway.
I think that's the question to ask. I think it's a little bit of all things. Yes, I think it's a bit of the market. I think people know that we need to make a statement, so they're gonna force us to pay a higher fee. But like, think of the impact this has on the rest of the team. Holy crap, we're spending 85, 100 million on players. We're the real deal. Now everyone is elevated. Everyone is more excited. And I think that the ownership knows that is the feeling that we need going into the season. So they're putting all their eggs in that basket, and I give them credit for it. It's what we need. It's what this club has needed for so long. And now I can't wait to see who we break the transfer record on tomorrow. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Michael, anything else you want to add before you go?
No, I appreciate what you're doing. And let's hope America and England meet each other in the World Cup at some point.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if we get through. It was close.
I'm nervous.
Michael, great to talk to you again, and it's great to see so many people smiling. It really is, because I think when we've spoke to you a couple of times, it's been dark days. So it's great to be on a positive show tonight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Michael, thank you. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Noel. Shane, Charlie, Linton, I'll be with you very, very soon, I promise. Noel, how are you?
Yeah, good, Chris. It's so good to see you smiling, because the last few times we were talking, I think it was the day before the last game at Everton, and we were very nervous, both of us. Yeah. And we got there in the end, predicted that we would, just about. And to see what's happening now, I can't believe it. I mean, we've been saying this, if Daniel Levy was still there, he'd be messing around trying to get a few million off, and we'd be going into the games in August without, the team wouldn't be totally settled until the transfer window would be over. So this has really encouraged me. I think it's a very, very positive sign.
and I can't wait for to see who's coming next, Chris. I'll be quite honest with you. I
No,
think it's brilliant.
talk to me about how you're actually feeling, because it does feel really good at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's surreal, Chris. I mean, I personally, until I see them holding the shirts, I know when you say you've signed somebody,
Yep.
but until you actually see him holding that shirt, he's in the bag. But it's here we go. I don't think anybody else is in for them. I think it's a very, very positive situation. Zerbi, obviously, he's got full control. He identified the players that he wanted. He started at the back and now he's moving into midfield. So obviously, we now need, the forward line sorted out. So I think it's brilliant, Chris. I really do. I can't believe that, that Tottenham Hotspur are spending £100 million on a player. But that's the market forces these days. You're getting almost £50 million for a 19-year-old, and you have other players there, that can command figures of 30-40 million pounds. Romero probably won't stay. I'm sure he will, command between 50 and 60 million. Van der Ven, I'm not sure what's happening there. I really hope he stays. I think he should be the linchpin of the defence. So the money doesn't really worry me, because that's the way the market has gone. And obviously that they have been very frugal in the last number of years, and they are making money. We always said they were making money. The 10th richest club in the world, but didn't really act like it. I suppose in their defence, maybe the stadium did hold them back. It cost a lot of money, and I remember Arsenal going through a similar situation. But these should be better days ahead. We've only got one game a week, and I just can't believe it. I can't wait to see the whole thing develop and see how the whole squad develops and who's coming next. And I know with the other guys were talking. I couldn't give you a name of a striker, Chris. The one I would love would be Harry Kane, obviously, but I doubt if that would happen. He was awesome today. He pulled England out of the mire. Two fantastic goals. He still got it. He's still the leader. Could you imagine what it would be like if he came back? Maybe in a year's time. Maybe are we dreaming? Could it happen? That would be number one on my list. And but fantastic. I can't believe really what's happening. And tying Kingsley down to a contract. I think well deserved. Um, and Madison will obviously be back. Not sure about some of the longer term injuries, but for the doomed days of last season and the season before, we were all biting our nails. Like last season was just terrible. We never want to experience that again. And I think now, with the quality of the players that we have, and everything is there. I always say that everything is there. The stadium, the training grounds. All we needed was a better quality of player, pay the wages, and that's what they seem to be doing. And they said what talk is cheap, and they said that this would be the summer, and so far it has proved right. So I think better days ahead, Chris. Onwards and upwards, as they say.
Absolutely.
And England to win the World Cup maybe after 60 years. What do you think?
I hope so.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind actually. I put a slight few bob on them actually, so I'll see what happens. But it was fairly nervy out there today for a while.
It was.
Yeah.
Now, what's your realistic hopes and dreams for next season?
I think Chris top six should be realistic. Obviously, I don't think we're going to win the league. Top four would be absolutely ideal, but top six I think would be acceptable. Get back into the Europa League. Could we go higher? Depends who else we get. Obviously there's a lot of factors that play. Injuries and consistency. But with the type of quality of player that they're now getting, they're all winners. Like Tonali is a tenacious type of player. Somebody we always talked about a Tonali type player. We've said this so often. Somebody that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and obviously dictate the play. Strong, never seems to be injured. That's the type of player that you want. If you're sitting down in the dressing room and you look at your right hand side and Tonali's there beside you, just to give you a hell of a boost. So to me, that's the difference. The quality. At the back, Van Heck is a good player. Senesi, is a really good player. Robertson to me probably won't play all the games, but he certainly give you leadership. And Paro has obviously committed to a new contract, so you really have backup all over the team. It's the forward line at the moment is the last piece of the jigsaw, and it's obviously I would hate to see the like of Bergvall go out the door, but I think possibly there'll be one between him and Gray, and I think it will be Bergvall. I think they'll try to keep both of them, but maybe one will go, and it's a pity, because older Spurs fans will. There was a player everybody knows back in the 70s, like Graham Souness was a Spurs player, and he was so impatient he wouldn't actually wait for his opportunity. And Bill Nicholson sold him to Middlesbrough for 35,000. This was like back in 1973. And 5 years later, he was moving to Liverpool and became the best player of his generation. So that's the risk you take, when you let some of these young guys out. But if they're so impatient, they won't wait for first team football. You can't hold them either. So that's a conundrum. But I'm excited, Chris. I really am. A wee bit nervous until I see them holding that shirt, but really excited.
Now, lastly, you talk about that forward line. Is there anyone with Premier League experience that playing in the Premier League right now who you'd like to target and you think is a realistic target for Tottenham to go and buy?
You're talking centre forward?
Yeah.
I really don't know. I heard Robbie mentioned. Big sort of physical type player. I'm not sure about that one. I don't think it'll be somebody in the Premier League, Chris.
Yeah.
Maybe Ollie Watkins, maybe the only player I would sort of fancy. I can't think of any Premier League player, that you could get. I think it would be somebody, that's currently playing in the World Cup. I really couldn't give you a name. I was hoping that you would give me one. But there will be somebody there. Obviously, I don't think Richarlison will be staying. And if we can get Solanke fit, there is a good player there. It's just that he hasn't been fit for the last 2 seasons, which is a pity. But all in all, maybe some of the young players, like will Lancashire maybe come back, possibly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. There's a lot of like there's going to be a lot of people showing up for a pre-season training. When they need a bigger dressing room.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, always great to talk to you. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Chris, and I really hope England go all the way this time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. See you later. Okay, thanks, Chris.
Right, we're now going to speak to Charlie. Charlie, how are you?
Hello, Chris. I'm very good. I'm sure all Tottenham fans are very good with the great news. My name is Sandro Tonali. I once was a Geordie. Now I play for Tottenham. When I walk down the street, all the people I meet, they say, "Oi, gorgeous, what's your name?" My name is Sandro Tonali. I'm delighted. I mean, earlier I was so annoyed before the England game, finding out the news that Vuskovic has gone to Brighton. I was so sad. Then I watched England getting that win. I mean, it was a nervy watch, but we got the win. And then after the game, I checked my phone. Tonali to Tottenham. Here we go. Great news. I mean, this club has shown they mean business. Today, I've been raving on about Fernandes to my friends. Look at this amazing player we've signed. He's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world. Tomorrow, I'm going to be raving about Tonali. They're going to be sick of me. They're going to be absolutely sick of me. But it's great for Tottenham, and we've needed to become a big club, because to be a big club, you've got to spend big money. And for your record transfer signing to be Dominic Solanke, it's embarrassing. How can we call ourselves a big club? How? Now, we've gone and broke our transfer record twice in 2 days. It's incredible. But for me, we still need more. For me, I would like us to get Savinio, Rashford. I still really, really want João Palhinha to sign, because without him, we'd have gone down. The passion he has, what he'd bring to the dressing room, and I just think he'd be a great player to have in our squads. And it only cost us around 20 million. I don't see why we're not going to go and sign him. I think he must be a must buy, even though we're just going to book Fernandes and Tonali. And then I think we should go sign another free transfer in Dusan Vlahovic. I wouldn't mind Sehu Guirassy, as I actually think he would do really, really, really well in the Premier League. Yeah, I'm delighted. What a depressing season. What a depressing season, Chris. And I don't. There was a point in the season we would have been thinking, could we be sitting here and talking about how we've signed the player of the season from League One because he might be good in the Championship? There was a point we thought that. There was a point we thought we were going down. And now we've gone and spent 185 million in 2 days. 85 million on Mateus Fernandes and 100 million on Sandro Tonali. This club mean business. I'm someone who likes to say, pay the money. If a club wants 60 million, pay the 60 million. West Ham wanted 85 million. We paid the 85 million. Newcastle wanted 100 million. We paid the 100 million. That's what I want to see. And ultimately, that money, it's not my money. It's the club's money. All I want to see is Tottenham bring in good players. And what have we done? We've brought in good players.
Charlie, how impressed have you been by how the football club have acted throughout June? Because we have got business done very, very early.
Chris, it's been incredible. I keep saying this. We have had the best transfer window out of any club in the Premier League so far. I say so far because we do still need more. But Robertson, fantastic signing. We've been calling out for another left-back because Udogie has been the only left-back at the club for the last few years. Spence has to keep playing there because Udogie keeps getting injured. Although, after watching the England game today, Chris, I'm starting to think Spence might be better as a left-back because he was shocking. He was absolutely diabolical. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought Madueke, an Arsenal player, big surprise, the Arsenal players making the mistakes. I mean, Havertz missing the penalty on the 1 month anniversary of the Gabriel penalty. I thought Spence was poor today, though. But he's had to play there. So now we've got another left back in, and Robertson brings so much to the dressing room. And I think Juventus were in for him, a top European club, and he chose to come to Tottenham. Shows how big we are. Then Senesi. Now, when Iraola signed for Liverpool, I was thinking, oh no, we might have got the here we go. But it's not official. He might go off to Liverpool. He didn't. He wanted to come to Tottenham. Then we signed Jan-Paul Van Heck. And look, Van Heck, good player. We overpaid? Absolutely. Do I care? Absolutely not. We've got a top centre-back. Romero will be going this summer. And I have a lot of respect for Romero. And I'm gonna remember him as a great Tottenham player. Yeah, we've got Van Heck over the line. Overpaid. 1 year left on his contract. That's good. Shows that we mean business. Then Martin Dubravka. The Dubravka signing made me really happy because it means Kinski's going to be the number one and Vicario's going out the door. My granddad has despised Vicario as much as I despise Thomas Frank. And I despise Thomas Frank. I despise that man. Sometimes I just sit up and I think, wow, I really hate Thomas Frank. That man, if we went down, he would have been the reason. Don't get me wrong, Tudor was a terrible manager, but it wasn't his fault, that situation. That was not his fault. And then Mateus Fernandes yesterday. Fernandes, like I said earlier in the stream, what I've been raving to my friends about, he will be one of the best midfielders in the world. And then Tonali today, he is one of the best midfielders in the world. You don't spend 100 million on a nobody. You don't. You just don't. This is it. Tottenham are back. Arsenal, keep that trophy warm for us. But look, I don't think we're going to win the league. I'm saying keep that trophy warm for us. I'm being optimistic. I'm being positive. I'm being confident. That's what I've got to be. That's what, I don't want to be negative. Oh, yeah, Chris, you've asked me to do these player ratings. And I tell you what, Chris, I'm so happy you asked me to do those player ratings. It's an absolute honour to do those player ratings for you. But halfway through the season, it was not an honour. It was not an honour. I wanted to be on your channel, Chris. I did not want to be talking about Tottenham on your channel. I would have preferred to do a cooking video on your channel than talk about Tottenham, because it was just that bad. It was that
It's
bad.
been hard. It's been hard,
It's
Charlie.
been tough.
We know.
But look at us now, Chris. We're both smiling.
Yeah.
We're both optimistic. And we're telling Arsenal to keep that trophy warm for us. Even though I think both of us know we're not winning the league. Look, for me, let's get back into Europe. Even if we qualify for a Conference League spot, I'll be happy. I want us back into Europe. And no matter what happens next season, no matter what happens, even if we come 17th again, keep De Zerbi, because that man is a hero. He's a hero, okay? He kept us up. He came into Mission Impossible when he done it. He saved us. Incredible. Legend. Roberto De Zerbi, thank you. I got a picture of Ange up in my room. It's somewhere. It's over there. I'm looking at it now. De Zerbi will be joining him this summer. De Zerbi will be joining him because that man's a hero. And I would give him his contract. And unless we went down, which the board have promised is not going to happen, we will never be in this situation ever again. So I don't think we will go down, considering we just spent 185 million. If we go down on two players, Fernandes and Tonali, two of the best midfielders in the Premier League, although one of them West Ham, Championship club, small little club. I can't say it's going down. This is stupidity talk. Look, we need to qualify for Europe, and we got to give De Zerbi this as long as we possibly can. This 5-year deal, because we got to give him time. I finally believe we got a manager who has earned credit, and I think Ange earned credit, and I think we should have kept Ange. But look, let's not get into this. We got De Zerbi. We should be happy, and no matter what, keep him as the coach. It's been a very good June. Obviously, we are in July now, but I think it's going to be even better July. But we still need more. We still need more, Chris. If the window ended here, I'd give this. I wouldn't give this window. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, which is still very good.
Charlie, that's what that was going to be my next question, because when I walked from that stadium, when we survived and we are a Premier League team, that last day of the season, when I walked back to the car, I recorded a video and I said two things. It was, we need to go back to where we belong, and by doing that, we need a transfer window that is going to be a 10 out of 10 transfer window. So the business that we have done so far, 4 confirmed signings over the line. They've all held the shirt up. Fernandes, deal agreed, 85 million. Tonali, deal agreed today, up to 100 million pounds. What else does Spurs need to do for you to say on the 1st of September, this has been a 10 out of 10 window?
I think like I said, we need 4 more players. We need Pellegrini, 2 wingers. I want Rashford and Savinho, and a number 9, Guirassy or Vlahovic. For me, that would make this 10 out of 10 window. But I have to say, the outgoings as well were going to be very, very important. De Zerbi said in his final press conference, he said 2 things that I keep talking about. I've expanded my YouTube channel now, Chris. I'm now Charlie Talks Tottenham, and I'm not just doing matchday vlogs. I'm making more videos, and I keep bringing up quotes from Roberto De Zerbi. And 2 of those quotes in his final press conference, one of them was, I want to keep 12, 13 players. So outgoings are going to be very key this summer. He also said, I want 2 top players in every position. That is something I believe in very much. When I do a FIFA career mode or AFC or whatever it is now, I'm in that game is gone. I used to love that game. That game is fully destroyed, FIFA. Sad. Rest in peace, FIFA. Football Manager, that's my new game. Football Manager. When I do a Football Manager save, I always make sure I've got 2 fantastic players in every single position. And that's what De Zerbi's trying to do. And that is fantastic. And I go for every position. We've got 2 top players in every position, except for that attack. I really want to see João Pellegrini come, because Pellegrini he brings so much. He brings so much. But outgoings are very important. I mean, I'm very sad Vuskovic has gone. I'm very sad. Chris, I'm in a very good mood. If we didn't have the news of Vuskovic leaving, I'd be running around my room with my top off right now, when I would have been for the last 3 hours. It's a bit of it's a tough pill to take, because Vuskovic will be one of the best centre-backs in the world. He'll be a Maldini and a Puyol, I'm confident. And I hope we sign him back one day. We've put that sell-on clause in there, so if we do want him back, he'll be cheaper. But Brighton, Brighton, that club, I hate Brighton. I've decided I completely hate Brighton, because they're just ridiculous, and they always seem to win. I mean, don't get me wrong, they love to pull Chelsea's pants down, which puts a massive smile on my face, and I just laugh every single time. But they've pulled our pants down here. 52 million for Van Hecken, and they go take the best young centre-back in the world for 46 million. It's a joke. And from us. Look, do you know what I'd do? If I was in charge of this club, I'd just say, you want Vuskovic here, you can have him on loan, and we're going to give you a £100 million buy fee, because they'll never pay it. They're never going to pay it. But yeah, look, the outgoing is very important. I think Richarlison needs to go. Bergvall needs to stay. I don't care what he wants. I'm someone who likes to say, if a player wants to go, let them go. No, I don't care. I do not care, Chris. Bergvall must stay at the club this summer. It's ridiculous that there's talk he's going to be leaving. Ridiculous. He will be as good as Pedri and Vitinha and Mateus Fernandes. Them two. And Gray as well. Gray must stay. I know Newcastle put a bid in for him as well, but we've got a bright future. I'd like to see Vicario out the door, like I said. My granddad does not like him. I've began to think, oh, Vicario, you're a bit silly. And I genuinely think that obviously Kinski's better than him. And Dubravka, the guy we've just signed from Burnley, is actually a better goalkeeper than him with his feet. And he's not very good with his feet, Dubravka. He's more of a shot stopper, but his shot stopping 100% better than Vicario. I want to see Vicario gone. I'm sorry, Vicario, thank you. In another life, this could have worked out, but not this life. This life, Kinski has worked out, and now Dubravka is the backup. I think Romero's going out the door, Chris, and I want to see Pap Sarr go out the door. I just think it's time. I love Sarr. Sarr's one of my favourite players. I got a picture of Tottenham lifting the Europa League trophy, and Sarr is right at the front of it next to Sonny. I love Sarr, the energy he brings, but Gallagher is just better than him. And yeah, I'm sorry, Sarr. I want to see you go. It's time.
Charlie, last question for you. There was a report today from the Independent stating that Spurs are interested in James Trafford of Manchester City. Would you like to see Trafford come in, and do you see Kinski as the number one?
I don't want to see Trafford come anywhere near this club. I want Kinski to be number one. You know, you telling me that, Chris? I'm starting not to trust the Independent. I've got to write a speech for my English GCSE, okay? And I got to use sources. You know, I don't think I'm going to be writing about the Independent now if they're coming out with stuff like this. No, we don't want Trafford. I don't know. The club are showing to me how ambitious we are, and they're saying, we want Trafford. Kinski should be the number one. That guy kept us up. I am never going to forget this season. I'm never going to forget it. This is unforgivable what they've done to us. Unforgivable. It's a disgrace what we had to go through this year. A disgrace that a big six club like Tottenham had to go through that. No, disgraceful. And Kinski is a reason we stayed up. You know, that Atletico Madrid game, it was not very good. It was not good at all. And I feel for him. And I was someone who, after that game, I remember the Sunderland game, my friends came over, and one of my friends was like, yeah, Kinski on Kinski. I love Kinski. I know Atletico Madrid was bad. And there was me every time we got the ball. No, I'm jumping off my seat. No, what's he going to do? It's going to slip over. And he proved to just be absolutely brilliant. And by that final day, I had total trust in him, even after that mistake he made against Chelsea. I do think he should have saved that shot from Enzo Fernandez. But yeah, Kinski, fantastic. Trafford, we do not want Trafford. Trafford, stay away from Tottenham. USA, you know, keep him in the USA. Don't come anywhere near North London, because we want Kinski to be our goalie. Maybe Trump can sort something out. But yeah, Trafford to stay in the USA, or go back to Man City, wherever you want to go. Don't come Tottenham. Dubravka's our number 2. Kinski's our number 1. We've got a good goalkeeper situation at the club. I'm a very happy man. I think we need 4 more signings. And I tell you what, Chris, so far, this window has been 10 out of 10. If we don't continue, it will drop to a 7 out of 10, like I said. But if we keep going the way we're going, this is going to be a 10 out of 10 window, Chris. And you cannot deny that. No one can deny that. This is fantastic. This is Tottenham Hotspur. We are Tottenham, okay? We are coming for the Premier League. We're optimistic. We're happy again. We've got the energy. I've got my energy back. In the last year, I didn't want to make any videos. I didn't want to show my face online, because it was embarrassing to be a Tottenham fan. Now it is time for us Tottenham fans to show up again. All right, it's our time now, and we're going to take it.
I've just noticed that Sean Butler is in the chat. Sean, great to have you here with us. And do you know what? I'll message you shortly, Sean, because we must do some content together in the very near future. So let's make that happen. So I'll be in touch. Charlie, lastly, give us some details about your YouTube channel, where people can subscribe and what they can expect, and anything else you want to add, dare I ask?
Chris, yes. Every time you ask me to plug myself, all I can say is Charlie Pisani YouTube channel. Well, it's changed, and I'm on 2 platforms. Charlie Talks Tottenham on TikTok and Charlie Talks Tottenham on YouTube. We've expanded the channel. I'm doing shorts every day. Chris, if you want the shorts sent to you, the shorts I do for my own channel, I'm more than happy to send them to you. Let me know. And then I post them on TikTok as well. Look, I'm an excited. I like to be optimistic. I'm positive. The youth of this country, we need to be positive people, and I want a positive country in the future. And I love Tottenham, and I want to show my passion for Tottenham. I want to give it to you guys. I'm a very lucky person. I get to go to all the games, all the home Tottenham games. Okay, I'm very lucky, and I want to share that experience with you, the viewers. I'm currently on 374 subscribers. To everyone watching, please subscribe. If we can get 26 subscribers from this right now, 400 subscribers. Honestly, Chris, you've got over 200,000. 400, I'd be so proud. I would be so proud. I'd be so proud, honestly. So please go subscribe. Go follow me on TikTok. Chris, thank you very much. Next year's going to be fun, guys. And all through the summer, we're going to be uploading content. I do want to do a transfer window, a transfer show in a few days. So that will be coming up. And I'm probably going to screen record this, Chris, and put it up on my channel if that's all right. Because I tell you, this has been a great, 15 minutes? I've loved it. Just talking about Tottenham again. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. And we've got smiles on our faces again. Since the Everton game, I've actually had a smile on my face. But today, that smile is bigger than ever. It's bigger than ever. And it could be, my smile could be as big as the Joker's smile if we didn't sell Vuskovic. I'm sad Vuskovic is gone, but I tell you what, I'll be completely honest. I'm not thinking about Vuskovic. I've got Tonali and Fernandes on my mind. But look, Fabrizio Romano, we still got a problem, me and you, after Morgan Gibbs White last summer. So, not too excited just yet. But I'm way too excited. I'm a little bit too excited. I'm a little bit too hyper. I've just finished my exams at school. I've my year 10 mocks, and I'm ready for next year, just trying to get in the focus, revising every day. And I tell you what, Chris, I'm certainly getting better at maths, because Tottenham, they keep putting these high numbers. They keep appearing, and I've got to add them up to see how much money we're spending. We've spent 237 million so far this summer, and we've also bought 4 free players. But look, Chris, we've got someone waiting. Thank you for having me on. Please subscribe. It's been an honour tonight, Chris. It's been an absolute honour. Chris, we've got to do some content, me and you, soon. We've got to off this fan show somehow, because I tell you what, I don't get a word in,
mate.
You don't. No, you don't. But I've enjoyed this. I'm happy, Chris. Let's keep this smile on my face, Tottenham. Don't take it away from me. Goodbye. Thank you.
Sean Butler's just subscribed to your channel, by the way. So I do advise everyone to go over to Charlie's channel and hit that subscribe button. Charlie will be doing a lot of content. He only does content when we're winning. Hopefully,
no. Right, Thomas Frank.
And
Thomas Frank have a serious problem. And Igor Tudor as well. That man, he can't coach a football team. Look, we can go on all night. Goodbye, Chris. We can do end of season review another time. Frank and Tudor, we got beef. Tonali's here. Come on, you Spurs.
Charlie, top man. See you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Right, we're now going to go to Shane. Shane, how are you?
Fantastic.
Shane, I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting so long. I know Charlie did go on there, and that's a lot to follow, isn't it?
My God, he can talk for England. He can. All good fans. I just wanted to say this is the first time I've been excited with two signings since Ricky Villa and Osvaldo Ardiles.
That long ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was 78, maybe 80. I think it was 78.
78, yeah.
And I think that was Scholar went over and shot the world, really, and brought those 2 back. So she's linking me into a question you've asked to many of your callers tonight of who would you get as a centre forward, and even wingers, whatever. And there's quite a few on show in the World Cup. So I think once we've done this week, with the signings, Premier League signings, I think they'll look outside the Premier League and spring a couple of surprises.
Shane, how excited are you by the football that we're going to play under Roberto De Zerbi and the squad that he is building? Because, you know, we've all said we want to see ambition from this football club. And I tell you what, this last 24 hours, you know, I think every single Spurs fan out there across the world is smiling and cannot quite believe that the news that we've had in the last 24 hours. It's incredible, isn't it? But, yeah, are you surprised by it?
I'm gobsmacked. But we did say the back end of last season that they need to open their wallets, and that's what they're doing. And we've got to give them credit for doing that. And also they're breaking the bank on the wages. It's not just a signing on; it's the wages they're paying players. I mean, £280,000 a week is a lot of bloody money. But that's the market today. So I definitely think they're doing the right thing. It's all very well spending money, but you've got to back the manager and get the players he wants. Now, it looks like they've had these targets as their top tier targets, and they've gone for them.
Yep.
Now, in previous years, we've had targets, but they've slipped through our hands, and we've ended up with, I don't mean third or fourth rate, but we've ended up with players not the same caliber. And there's going to be a clear out of those lower players that may well go on, like the one that's just gone to Brighton. Clearly, Levy and the board over the last few years have had a strategy of buying young, try and get them improved through the academy and the rest of it, and sell them on. Roberto has probably said to him, "I want proven players that are ready to go from day one, and ready and up and running for pre-season." So all of those factors, Chris, I think he's getting exactly what he wants, and that's really backing the manager 100%. It's just brilliant, and it should have happened years ago.
Can I ask you about Captain Christian Romero? Would you like him to stay? If you could talk to Romero, what would you say to him? Would you say, "I'd like you to stay"?
Romero's a world-class defender, so yes, you'd want him to stay. He is a reckless world-class defender. So you've got to work out and take a bit of a calculation and say, how many games will he potentially miss during the season for red cards or yellow? And also, is he a good leader? Now, it's been said over the last couple of years, he's a World Cup winner, which he is. But he's not a leader in my eyes. Leaders bring people together. They galvanise the team, and you fight and don't leave anything, don't leave any energy or any fight on the pitch. You know, you play to the last second, and on the surface, it looks like he didn't do that. So I would be quite happy to sell him on. Yes.
Do you think that Roberto De Zerbi, though, could get the very best out of Romero?
No, I don't, because 3 managers before that have tried and they haven't done it. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, I think one of the things we did last season and the season before is he whether it's tactics, when he had the ball, he slowed the game down. And it was like he was waiting to pick a pass, break through the lines, as they call it. But what it did, it gave the opposition a chance to get back into shape, get back in defence, and make it difficult for us to break the lines, which is what we're trying to do in the first place. So these players we brought today, and Maddison and the other ones we've got around us in midfield. If you look, I'll try and digress in slightly, but if you look at Man United, and when they were successful with Fergie, they had somebody like Paul Scholes who would get the ball, and he'd do a 5-yard pass to Beckham, who would use the flair on the ball. So you need that balance in midfield, the getter and the doer. So Maddison could well be who breaks the line, but you've got that player, and you had that with Paulinho last year. He would break the play down, whereas Sarr would run around like, full of energy, but didn't have the decision making skills to when to go and when to stay, when to break up, or when to do a bit of skill. And that's what Spurs are buying now. They're buying proven winners or quality players that have got better decision making. At the end of the day, all the players are supreme athletes.
Shane, how important is it that Tottenham bring in forward players, particularly another striker at the football club?
100%. Richarlison, like you say, he's a bit hit and miss. I don't really know what to say about Solanke because he's not what you'd call top-notch striker. Hence the reason I was saying about the World Cup. There are some of the lesser teams that have got good strikers and probably little gems waiting to be found. But I don't know enough about Roberto's plans to whether we want a traditional number 9 or whether we want a mobile number 9. But it sounds like he does, that plays across all 3 channels in the attack, left, right, and middle. So if he wants that, then you need a versatile striker that is almost an advanced midfielder. So, you're not playing hold-up play and lay-off. You're playing fast movement football, stretching the play, and you're relying on your speed and your physical strength to get on the ball and get shots away. We weren't doing that enough last year. Solanke isn't an agile striker, and nor is Richarlison. Whereas Xavi, he is, but he's a bit lightweight, and obviously he's injured now, unfortunately. But again, Xavi's one probably for the future. I wouldn't be surprised if he was sold this summer.
Shane, who would you expect to be the Spurs captain next season? Van der Ven?
I would like Van der Ven to be captain, but I think Robertson will get it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's part of what he attracted him to go to Tottenham, to be the captain. He is a leader. I personally think captain should be central defence, where they can see the whole shape and play of the game unfolding, so they can, if you like, bark out orders, sort of thing, to bring the team all together. Whereas if you're left, right, or even like I thought, even Harry Kane being striker up front, he wasn't seeing what was happening behind him. And being a goalkeeper, being a captain, you're too far away from the main play to get your points across.
Shane, anything else you'd like to add?
I'd just like to add, I just want to make sure it's not a dream, that we are spending money. I'm just really glad we survived last year and gave the new board, if you like, or the new members of the board, the chance to put the money where the mouth is, and that's what they're doing. And you've got to be fair to them. When we built the stadium, there was a lot of debt there, just like there was with the club down the road. But they could have done it before now, but they chose not to. What's that? Joe Lewis. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. So there's money out there for the football club, and investment this year, next year, and the year after. So really, they've been kicked into it, embarrassed into it. But to be fair to them, the danger is, how many players do you want to have in during the window, Chris? Because they've all got to bed in, they've all got to play together.
Yeah, but of course they do have a pre-season, and I think that Roberto De Zerbi will work his magic, no matter how many players do come in. But it's been a really, really good start. 6 players in. I actually said 10 to 12 players, and I think a lot of people laughed at that point, saying that that's probably too many players. But when he wants 2 players in each position, and they've got to be top quality players as well, there's no point just bringing in anyone. They need to be top signings. They need to be top players.
So they should, because we're a top club. That's the whole point. We should be signing top players because we are, top 6, top 4 club historically. The facts are there, but we need to get a good feeling back, which we're getting.
Yeah.
And let's just hope for a really good season. But
Yeah.
I worry that we may end up with too many signings that may water down what he's trying to do. So don't be surprised if we don't have loads more. I think he's getting his business done early, and then it may go quiet.
No, I think we're going to aim for more quality signings, Shane. I really do. I'm very excited. 6 signings over the line, and I think that there's going to be a good handful more. So yeah, very excited about the future, because also you've got to think about next season. We should be getting into a European spot. So the following year, then of course we will have a lot of those players that have played under Roberto De Zerbi for a season. And then, of course, it will be a lot more games, because next season it will be 1 game a week. Bar the Carabao Cup and an FA Cup, which I personally hope that we do go far in and really take these domestic cups seriously, because it's been far too long of us winning one of these domestic cups. You know, when you talk about the FA Cup, 1991, can you believe that it's been that long since Spurs won an FA Cup?
Yeah. I mean, we were always a cup side more than a league side, weren't we? But I'd be optimistic, the same as you, that we will win a cup this season coming, and progress as well as we can in the league. There's going to be bumps in the road, but I just think with only one game a week, we should be quietly optimistic, and I hope they sort out the injury scenario, whatever is causing the injuries. Whether it's the actual training itself, the pitch, or what they eat, or whatever it is, it can't just keep going. So when you say about breaking the cycle of doing the same thing all the time about players, we also need to break that cycle of what we're doing that's causing the injuries.
Shane, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Take care. See ya.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Abdallah. Hello.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Very good. Remember we spoke last time as well?
I do indeed. And it was quite depressing times, because last season, whenever I spoke on one of the fan shows, it weren't good situations to be talking about. How are you feeling right now about the transfer window?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the 6 signings so far?
Chris, I did not get that question. You were just breaking up. I'm sorry.
How are you feeling about the transfer window so far?
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. We've been praying for times like this, isn't it? In 2 days, 2 big signings. I think it's too much to ask for. I thought one of them would happen. I wasn't sure we were going to go for both of them. That's too good.
How impressed have you been that the football club are changing the way that they're doing things?
What's wrong with it?
Right, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, because the very bad reception, and Abdallah can't actually hear what I'm saying. So I've had a few people ask, how can you come on one of the fan shows? Very simply, just email me. It's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and it would be great to have you on a future fan show, especially talking about all of the positive news right now. Of course, as we've mentioned throughout the fan show, and as we've mentioned throughout the last couple of weeks, Robertson, Senesi, Van Hecke, Dubravka, they are all done. They have all been holding up the Tottenham Hotspur shirt. And of course, in the last 24 hours, it has been widely reported that Fernandes will be joining Tottenham from West Ham for £85 million, and Tonali will be joining Tottenham. The package is worth a total of £100 million. £92.5 million is the fee, and then £7.5 million in add-ons. It's very, very exciting right now, and we have all got smiles on our faces. 62 days left of the transfer window. There is plenty of time for Spurs to get a lot more deals done if they want to, of course. And 45 days until we play Brentford on the opening weekend of the season. But it would be great to have you on. So if you would like to join us on a future fan show, please do send me an email, tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. Enjoy the rest of your week. Keep smiling. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, come on, you Spurs.